Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
After a 9-game road trip, the Reds are back home as the San Diego Padres come a-calling for 4. It's Reds baseball, back on your home for Reds baseball, Fox Sports, Ohio. And nothing better than Sam the Bald Eagle to get you set for America's pastime. Sam the Bald Eagle in all his glory returns to the yard. And hi again, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Jim Day. We got a couple of teams that started the season slowly. Of late, the Reds have playing better baseball. And in June, the Padres, at least offensively, have turned up the wick.
Well, they've really been able to put some numbers on the board. And I think they've changed their whole season around because of that. No one really expected much out of the Padres this year. They're kind of in a rebuilding program, maybe a hair behind the Reds in that process. But boy, oh boy, in the month of June, first in team batting average, first in on-base percentage, first in runs per game. Matt Kemp leading the charge with a .370 batting average. He's coming off an outstanding series against the Baltimore Orioles. Just a 2-game set they just got done yesterday. And so this is the ball club right now that John Lamb ought to see them swinging the bats very well.
Another guy in the middle of that lineup the Reds will have to deal with is Will Myers, and he is heated up.
Hard to believe that Will Myers is only 25 years old because he seems like he's been around much longer than that. A former Rookie of the Year. He is now hitting .342 in the month of June. He's got power to all fields. He's playing an impeccable first base, has not made an error all year long, and this guy is the heart and soul of this young team. I'll tell you, he's going to be around a while. I think that they're talking about trading some of their other players. Will Myers not one of them, a guy right in the center of everything.
Well, the Left-Handed Pitchers Association will be happy with this matchup tonight. Christian Friedrich will go for the Padres.
Well, those that follow college baseball around the Ohio and Kentucky area may remember him, Christian Friedrich, from down around Richmond when he played for Eastern Kentucky University, a former #1 draft pick for the Colorado Rockies. He's been very, very good on the road, as you see, and with a 0.47 earned run average, and he's on the road tonight, but pitching near his old college. We'll see how he does, this left-hander.
And the Reds will give the ball to this lefty, the blonde lock, John Lamb.
You know, John Lamb has had a very interesting season on top of a very interesting season last year where he can be very, very good in stretches. Then he has 1 or 2 bad games and it blows his earned run average up. He's allowed 1 earned run in 5 of his 9 starts, so he's really kept his team in the ballgame. The Reds are looking for a similar performance tonight.
Well, there's some hitters that like to see lefties on the bump coming up. We'll talk about that and more. Jeff McCorrell has that story as we get you set for the Reds and Padres here on FSO.
Good evening. I'm meteorologist Scott Dimick. The Reds will be taking on the Padres tonight. No, a tornado watch is out for GABP through 10 o'clock. Thankfully, showers and thunderstorms will be scattered, so just be weather aware as temperatures fall through the 80s and 70s this evening. Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio.
All right, thank you much, Scott. Back here at Great American Ballpark, the rain has left the area. We are ready to play baseball. And of late, the Reds' offense has been powered by the outfield of Adam Duvall and Jay Bruce. And what am I talking about? How about this? It's our still power tool performer of the night. And tonight, we get a look at most RBI versus left-handed pitchers in the National League. You're going to see all four of the top in baseball. Matt Kemp has 17, Suarez 16 for the Reds, Will Myers with 16, and Jay Bruce with 15, along with Bryce Harper and Wellington Castillo. But Jay Bruce is on an absolute tear. He has been hot for over a month, but he's in the midst of an 8-game hitting streak where he's hitting all of 371 with 5 doubles, 2 home runs, and 11 RBI. It's his longest stretch since 2014. If he and Duvall stay hot, you can bet they're going to put some runs on the board, especially in the humidity here in Cincinnati. It's game 1 of a 4-game series between the Reds and the San Diego Padres. Billy's back, he's in center, and the Reds are back from a 9-game road trip where they finished 4-5. So Jim and Chris are set for the lineups and take you to the first pitch after this.
Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good. It's Skyline time. Back in the Queen City after a 3-city 9-game road trip for the Reds. And lefty John Lamb hits the field and will stroll out to face Andy Green's San Diego Padres. Andy Green, born in Lexington, Kentucky, played at the University of Kentucky. His first season as the Padres manager, 30-43 coming in to Cincinnati. And here's how I'll line them up. Rookie Travis Jankowski will lead off. And then back-to-back guys that are red hot in June. Will Myers and Matt Kemp. Yangervis Solarte will play third base. Melvin Upton Jr., Derek Norris, Alexi Ramirez, Adam Rosales, the former Red, and on the hill, lefty Christian Friedrich. And it's a lefty parade tonight. Lefty John Lamb will face the Padres for the first time.
Well, let's hope that John Lamb has not been reading all the press releases about the Padres and their offense in the month of June. After all, I mean, he may get psyched out, but he's been pitching pretty good baseball. I mean, the record doesn't really show it, and the earned run average doesn't show it, but he can blow up and have a game where he gives up a lot of runs and it runs that Ernie way up there. But overall, I think Lamb is getting better and better as the season gets on. Remember, he had back surgery over the winter, so I don't think his core strength has really been there yet this year. But I do like his assortment of off-speed pitches. A curveball that'll float down there as low as 65, 66 miles an hour. A changeup that he works in the mid-70s. And a fastball that'll touch 91 or 92. Plenty of stuff to pitch here at the major leagues and pitch well.
Well, the Padres are in the middle of a 6-game, 7-day road trip. They split 2 games in Baltimore before coming to Cincinnati. And the Padres, for whatever reason, over the last 12 meetings with the Reds, they are 9-3. So the Reds would like to turn around those fortunes. Travis Jankowski will dig in as the first batter for the Padres. And Lamb set to deliver the first pitch on this night. It's down low for a ball. We are underway. Dan Bellino behind home plate calling balls and strikes. Toby Bassner down at first. Crew chief Tom Hallion at second. Phil Cuzzy at third. Seeing eye single to lead this one off as Jankowski sends one into left field to get this ball game underway. Here's your 4 defensive lineup for the Reds around the outfield. Jose Peraza makes his second career start in left. Billy Hamilton in center. Jay Bruce in right. Infield of Suarez, Cozart, Phillips, and Adam Duvall will make his second start of the season at first. 3rd straight game without Joey Votto, still under the weather. And Ramon Cabrera, which we've seen of late, basically the catcher, the battery mate, each time out for John Lamb. Lamb just threw over to first base, and it was a pretty close play.
That's one of those step-off moves that left-handers have. There's 2 moves that left-handers have. One is once you get into the set position, you lift the leg, and then you decide whether you're going to first or home. And now there's some barking going on.
Well, I think the Reds were going to see the replay here, Chris. A big lead. Close play. Lamb will go over there again.
Yeah, did the Reds want a chance to have a review for that and were unable to do so? Well, Lamb will right back on the rubber, yeah. So that'll negate that request.
All right, Will Myers in there, and you want to talk about red hot, that would be him. And the guy on deck as well, Matt Kemp. 20 games this month. Myers is hitting .342. 8 doubles, 9 home runs, and 23 runs driven in. Right back to Lamb. Bobbled it, had a chance for a double play ball, but gets the sure out at first. That was a tailor-made double play ball, but he couldn't handle it.
Now, this is the kind of play you just long for as a pitcher, but when you can't get your handle on it, you want to make sure that you get one out right there, and Lamb doesn't panic.
So with 1 down in the inning and Jankowski at second base, here's Matt Kemp. Kemp has really come on of late. Last 25 games, he's hitting .353. This whole Padres club, offensively at least, really woken up. Over the last 25 games, Kemp 7 doubles, 5 home runs, 21 runs driven in, and has scored 16 runs. 1-0 pitch to him. Outside 2-0. 945 OPS over the last 25 for Kemp. And his .370 average in June ranks 4th in the National League. Long look in for Lamb. And Kemp steps out. Kemp has a team leading 51 runs driven in. Last season, he didn't drive in his 51st run until July 20th. Swing and a miss.
Now, the whole idea when you're pitching to Matt Kemp is to establish the fastball, and then if you can, if you're a right-hander, you throw sliders down and away, and if you're a left-hander, you get that changeup working down and away. He will swing and miss at that pitch with the best of them. But if you make a mistake out over the plate, he is big and strong enough to launch it a long way.
Well, Lamb has turned a 2-0 count into a 2-2 count. And now the 2-2 pitch. Popped up. Without a play. Last time out, John Lamb went 5 1/3 and a career-high 8 strikeouts. After the game, I asked him about the strikeouts, and he said, I didn't even realize I was striking out that many guys until DeSclafani told me, dude, what's up with all the strikeouts? He said, what do I got, 4? He said, no, you got 8.
You know, I think not only does he not know, he doesn't care. And
I would agree with you on that.
You talk about a guy that is in the present. That's John Lamb.
Yep.
Yes,
Check swing, and he went. First strikeout of the game for Lamb, and a big out. Out number 2 here in the first.
There's the off-speed pitch down and away, and Matt Kemp is just so anxious at this stage in his career, like it has been for the last few years. He's got to get that bat started early. He commits, you pull the string, you get him out.
And now Yangervis Solarte. 255 hitter, 4 home runs, 21 runs driven in. Hold the string. We will see that a lot. Changing of speeds for John Lamb has been one of the most impressive things we've seen in his development. Nubb down to first base. That's Duvall. He'll take it himself. And John Lamb dances around a leadoff single. Reds coming to bat. Taking their first cuts of this game. And here's how Brian Price will line them up tonight. Zach Cozart will lead off as usual. Billy Hamilton batting second. 3, 4, and 5 are Phillips, Bruce, and Duvall. Eugenio Suarez at third base. Jose Peraza manning left field tonight. Ramon Cabrera hanging the signs for John Lamb. And once again, it's another lefty, Christian Friedrich, on the bump.
Yeah, he's a big, tall left-hander who grew up in Illinois, but he ended up going to Eastern Kentucky University. And down there, he was an All-American freshman. He came second-team All-American a couple of years later, and eventually earned a #1 draft pick by the Colorado Rockies in 2008. And unfortunately for Friedrich and really the Colorado Rockies, he never did fill into that prospect potential that they thought he had when they saw him pitch in college.
Cozart pops one up. First baseman Myers will take it. 1 out. And here's your 4 defensive lineup for the Padres. Upton, Jankowski, Kemp in the outfield. Solarte, Ramirez, Adam Rosales at second, Will Myers at first. Norris behind the plate, Friedrich on the mound. Now Billy Hamilton. Switch hitter will hit from the right-hand side. First pitch lefty to righty. Fouled off. Hamilton moving up in the lineup with Votto out again. 3rd straight day for Votto, although he did do some baseball activities on the field today in blazing heat. Brian Price was non-committal about his availability off the bench tonight. Fighting a virus, flu-like symptoms, has not felt good. Quite honestly, has not looked normal of late. Exactly what you expect from someone that's fighting it. 0-2 to Hamilton. Ground ball to third. Backhander. Long throw, but they get Billy easily.
Well, anytime Billy Hamilton's running down the line, you better hurry up, although that was gloved very nicely by Solarte and solid defensive play.
2 down, Brandon Phillips. Last time out for Christian Friedrich, gave up a season-high 6 runs, picking up the loss against the Nationals this past Friday. First pitch to Phillips. Missed ball 1. It was the 6th time that Friedrich has allowed at least 6 runs. But the first time since June of 2014 against the Brewers.
Well, for Friedrich, those numbers are really in a different lifetime for him.
Hit well. Right center field. On the track, though, is Jankowski, who makes a nice catch. And a 1-2-3 inning for Friedrich. Through 1, scoreless at GABP. honoring the 40th anniversary of the 1976 World Series champion Reds. Arrive early for a special pregame ceremony featuring the members of the Big Red Machine. Plus, stick around for a spectacular postgame fireworks show presented by Cooper Tire. 513-381-REDS for tickets or reds.com. The music bed will be music from 1976. $65-66 miles per hour on that pitch. John Lamb versus Melvin Upton Jr., who used to go by B.J. Upton, one of the Upton brothers that are in Major League Baseball. The older of the two brothers was a second-round pick by the Rays back in 2002. I believe I said second round. He was a second pick overall in 2002. And he signed that big deal with Atlanta, 5-year, $72 million contract with the Braves. And since then had a season in which he hit 184, 208, and last year was a part-time player. So it's been a bit of a fall from grace.
Yeah, that's an example of where a big contract, instead of something that relaxes you and lets you play baseball, it becomes an anchor. Where when you begin to underperform, it gets harder and harder to justify yourself being out there. But Upton, to his credit, you know, plays hard. The people in San Diego tell me that he will turn in about the best defensive left field that you will find out there, with a tremendous arm.
When he gets on, he can steal a base. He's got 15 on the year. 3-2 pitch again from Lamb, ripped into left field, base hit.
That's a pretty good approach right there by Upton on that slow curveball, although maybe Lamb showed it too much. You know, this slow curve is a great pitch, but I believe it's more effective early in the strike count than it is late, because the more a hitter sees you, the more he realizes that maybe he doesn't have enough fastball to get it by me, so I can sit on that fastball and still react to the off-speed stuff. And Upton did a nice job there.
Runner on first, nobody down, and Derek Norris, the catcher for the Padres. Throw over. Upton Jr.'s been caught 4 times. 15 successful stolen base attempts.
Well, he's been a good base runner his entire career. He's had a high water mark of 44 stolen bases earlier in his career when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays. In fact, he had 3 consecutive years with the Rays where he stole 44, 42, and then again 42.
Brian Price, talking about John Lamb before the game, he said one of the things that he has really improved upon is controlling the running game, using a slide step more, limiting the runners. We saw last year it was really a struggle for him to control the running game, and even early this year.
I don't know, maybe Brian Price is seeing something different than the rest of us, because last year
raised a few eyebrows.
He gave up 3 stolen bases last year, and he's given up 9 so far this year. Now maybe the approach is better, but the results maybe not there yet. In fact, last year he gave up 3, they threw out 1. This year he's given up 9, they've thrown out 2.
Upstairs, 2 balls, 1 strike.
You know, really what you see with John Lamb, and it goes with so many different pitchers. It went with last night with Dan Straley. You know, where your secondary stuff is so important that sometimes you get caught up in that, but it's how you command the fastball on that particular night, which really directly relates to how you're going to be successful or not.
There goes the runner. Throw down from Cabrera, not nearly in time. Ball gets past Phillips, and Upton will cruise into third base.
Upton gets a big jump right there, and this is really one of these situations where Brandon ought to get in front of the baseball right there, because he really didn't have much of a chance to sweep tag the runner even if he fields it cleanly. So by getting it away from him now, the runner goes to third base 90 feet away. The Padres are going to have a couple of shots to get him in on a ground ball or a sacrifice fly.
E2 air on the catcher Cabrera, allowing Upton Jr. to go to third base. 16th stolen base of the season for Upton.
See, that's one of those errors, and I don't know whether you agree with this or not, Jim, but I think it ought to be a team error, because the catcher gets, charged with the error, but it could have easily have been blocked and just kept in the infield by the infielder had he decided not to try to tag the runner. And then you just give the runner a stolen base.
In the air. Is it deep enough? Probably not. Upton will not try Phillips in short right field.
Well, that's a good break for the Reds right there, because now if John Lamb can work his way around Alexei Ramirez, and you could have a good chance of stranding that runner at third base.
Ramirez steps in as a .250 hitter, 3 home runs, 25 runs driven in. And the first pitch from Lamb. Off speed pitch, 75 on the gun. There for a strike, 1-1, 67 miles per hour.
And Upton probably salivating down there at third base, thinking, boy, if I can pick the right pitch and he throws that 66 or 67 mile an hour curveball, I might have a chance of beating it to the plate and maybe even swipe home. And that may be why John Lamb is pitching out the stretch right here.
Well, Upton is no stranger to stealing home. June 3rd versus Colorado. Check him out. Sneaking down the line, sneaking down the line. Beautiful slide. Those unis that Chris Welsh used to wear.
Those are sweet.
Been a pretty good 6 games versus the Reds for Alexei Ramirez. 3-1 pitch from Lamb. Fouled back, 3-2. Sun shining now here at GABP. We had a shower move through early in the game, or before the game. Tarp was on the field, but all good now. Steamy night, but night for baseball. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball. Cozart's got a weight on it. John Lamb strands a runner at third, or excuse me, scores a run from third. And Alexei Ramirez with the 6-3 RBI ground out.
Well, that's the advantage of getting that runner at third base instead of second base with the error on a stolen base. Right now is charted as an unearned run, but still a run nonetheless.
And now the former Red, Adam Rosales.
I didn't get a chance to see Adam before the ball game, and I'm going to have to make it down there tomorrow, because one of my favorite former Reds players. Boy, just a jovial young man.
And he was a fan favorite here just because he's a hustler. Yeah. He's a battler.
He came back here at the right weekend, didn't he?
He certainly did.
He played the game like Pete Rose would want everybody to see play the game.
That was the comparison that people often made. And anyone that hustles like Rosales is going to get that comparison to Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose.
Like, doesn't Rosales have the record for the fastest trot around the bases on a home run that leaves the ballpark? If not maybe the fastest, certainly up there.
Well, we were joking before the game that if Rosales and Hamilton each hit a home run in this series, we're going to have a battle for who gets around the bases quicker. Got to tell you, Adam Rosales has carved out a pretty good major league career. He might not have the numbers up there, but he has lasted. Fouls it back. Rosales still active with that bat in the box.
Well, you're right about Rosales. I mean, he has had parts of 9 different seasons in the major leagues. His overall major league service time is just a little over 5 years. Cincinnati, Oakland, a few years at Texas, and this year in San Diego.
Called third strike. Second strikeout of the night for Lamb, but the Padres get on the board. Rick set for a second inning of work. He's our focus of our Elk and Elk storylines. Small sample size, but he's made 3 road starts in 3 really tough parks to pitch in and has fared well. Gave up 1 earned run at Miller Park, none in 7 innings of work at Chase Field, and none in 6 innings of work at Coors Field. You look at the ballpark averages nationally ranked, those are tough ballparks to pitch in, but he has fared well so far on the road this season.
It's kind of funny because there's no better ballpark in baseball to pitch, maybe other than San Francisco, AT&T Park, but Petco Park in San Diego is a pitcher's paradise, even when they brought the fences in a few years ago. And he pitches better on the road. I go figure that.
He'll face Jay Bruce to lead off the second for Cincinnati. Bruce riding an 8-game hitting streak. Those 55 runs driven in, second most in the National League, as he continues to hit more consistently here in 2016. He appeared in 8 of the 9 games on the road trip, hit safely in all 8 of those, and hit .371 overall on the trip. If you like that on pace stat or line, on pace for a .285 batting average, 33 doubles, 13 triples, 35 homers, and count them 123 runs driven in.
It really the power numbers are the ones that you want to look at with Jay Bruce. He's never been a high batting average type of hitter. Last year he hit 226. Lifetime he's 250. But he has never had a season where he has hit as high as he is hit right now. Right, sitting right at 285.
2-2 pitch. Grounder right into the shift. 6-3 on that put out, 1 down. If a Reds home run hits the Toyota sign during tonight's game, Dick Vonderhaar from Westchester, Ohio will win this beautiful new Tundra on display at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by senior Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. That was a 5-3 put out. So correction there as the Padres employed the shift and had the third baseman Solarte on the right-hand side. Adam Duvall, 258 hitter, team leading 20 home runs. And that total second most in the National League. Swing and a miss. We talked about Friedrich, originally drafted by the Rockies. He was released in February by the Rockies, and then just a weird situation where the Angels claimed him, but then turn around and petition the commissioner's office to reverse the team's waiver claim because the Angels had concerns about Friedrich's physical. So they turned him to the Rockies, and the Rockies unconditionally released Friedrich. San Diego signed him to a minor league deal.
I don't know if it's going to last for Christian Friedrich, but he's an example of why you may just want to take a chance on a little bit of an older left-hander. 28 years old, but at one time he was high on a lot of lists, being a #1 draft pick and available to anybody here this spring. In fact, he really didn't have a spring training, because if you go to one camp and you get released in early February, that means before the even pitchers and catchers report, and then you don't get to go to camp again, and then you end up signing in March. It's just one of those very influx kind of springs for Friedrich. Padres took a chance on him, and he's paid off so far.
2-2 pitch. Duvall lays off an outside pitch, 3-2.
The Padres needed some pitching help because their two big stud pitchers, Tyson Ross and Andrew Cashner, are on the disabled list.
Called, third strike. First strikeout of the night for Friedrich, 2 down.
Well, our Fox Tracks has it that Adam Duvall ought to be standing on the first base bag. Little comeback fastball action right there. Home plate umpire looking right over the left-handed shoulder of the catcher on that, Derek Norris. Home plate umpire Dan Bellino.
Now with 2 outs, Eugenio Suarez. On the road trip, hit his 14th home run of the season, a career high for Eugenio in his young major league career. Last night tried to make a game of it. His 3-run home run that we just talked about made it a 1-run game in Texas. Only to see the Rangers hit a couple of solo shots, one off of J.J. Hoover, one off of Tony Cingrani, and that was the difference in the 6-4 Rangers win. 2 balls, 1 strike. Four-game set versus the Padres, the prelude to the Pete Rose weekend. 2-1 pitch to Eugenio. Lays off an 83-mile-per-hour pitch, 2-2.
Yeah, the 83 pitch is a slider. He does not throw much in the way of a changeup at all. He's primarily fastball, curveball, slider.
Here you see the Number 14 in the grass here at GABP here in center field.
How'd they do that? You know how they do that?
I would think with a lawnmower. Just going out on a limb there.
Well, you know, my lawnmower doesn't do that.
Three and two. They'll retire that number 14 on Sunday. Tomorrow will be the reunion of the 40th anniversary of the 1976 Reds. Saturday will be the induction speech. Sunday they will retire the number. And we hope to get a visit from the Hit King at the booth tomorrow night. Your former skipper. Up high. And Suarez draws the first walk of this ball game. And now Jose Peraza, who tonight is playing his first game here at Great American Ballpark. And his second professional start in left field. Started the opener of the two-game set in Texas and left. 5-game hitting streak for Jose. The .229 average, not setting the world on fire, but he has consistently got a hit in a lot of games. At least one. Look at him. Suarez takes his lead from first. 2 down, bottom of the second. Way upstairs. 2-1.
First time Friedrich has had to throw out of the stretch position, and he just doesn't look quite as comfortable to me. He's missed a couple of times up and out of the strike zone, somewhere where he has not missed very much so far tonight. He'll give you a walk now. He's walked 21 batters in just 40 innings.
There goes Suarez. Hit and run, fouled off.
I'm not so sure as much as a hit and run is that they were just going to start the runner right there and take what happens. I guess the subtle difference between the hit and run and a run and hit is the hitter does not have to swing on a run and hit, and you wouldn't put the hit and run on with 2 outs. So, you know, they just want to kind of put the runner in motion, and Peraza can slap the ball into a base hit. You've got a chance to score Suarez on a ball that may elude an outfielder.
Peraza just serves one into left field. Base hit. 2 on, 2 outs for Ramon Cabrera. First hit of the night for Cincinnati.
Little slider, and it comes right in on him right there. I don't think it broke his bat, but Peraza, look how he stays right on top of that ball. I mean, he keeps his head right on it and is able to just muster enough to get it into left field.
Now the backup catcher for Cincinnati, Ramon Cabrera. Modest 3-game hitting streak for Ramon. And he has been the designated catcher, if you will, for John Lamb. Lamb sits on deck. Cabrera, switch hitter. Batting Lamb from the right-hand side against the lefty Friedrich. 1-0 pitch. 2-0.
Yeah, one of the peculiarities of the Reds roster is that they have a roster that has 2 switch hitting catchers on it.
Don't see that often. Hitters count. This is the classic pitch around, if you will.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you're Brian Price, you're giving him the green light, I would imagine. And if you're Christian Friedrich, you're thinking, all right, you know, with the pitcher on deck, I got to assume that he's going to swing if I throw him a strike right here. Not even close.
The unintentional, intentional walk.
Now Darren Balsley will come out and talk to him, just try to settle him down a little bit. I really read it early on, and it was just kind of funny how Friedrich just does not look as comfortable out of the stretch. You know, out of the full windup, he's missing down, he's missing inside a little bit. You put him in a stretch position, all of a sudden, like those pitches to Ramon Cabrera that he walked him on, up and away, up and away. So this is when, as a pitcher, you've got to really be your own pitching coach. Regardless of what your man told you when he came out to visit, you've got to find that one flaw in your delivery that is keeping you from throwing it over the plate. Now, on the other hand, do you give John Lamb a chance to swing at the first pitch, or do you make Friedrich throw a strike? That is up to Brian Price.
This will be pitch number 30 of the inning for Friedrich.
And a first pitch slider. How about that?
Well, apparently he has not looked at the Reds hitting lack of prowess from the pitchers this year. Lamb only his second career plate appearance with the bases loaded. 1-0. Reds pitchers are hitless in 43 at bats. Alfredo Simon's second inning single off of Seattle's Wade Miley back on May 22nd was the last hit. Lamb has 1 hit this year, and it was a dribbler.
Well, he had one plate appearance where he got jammed so bad that it made him miss the start.
Yep. Longest hitless streak by Reds pitching, 0 for 55. That was way back in 1971. Lamb laying off, 2-2.
Here's a decision pitch right here.
Stays alive. Lamb has the same demeanor at the plate that he does on the mound. You would never know the bases are loaded. Either way. As easygoing a demeanor as you will see on the field in Major League Baseball. Ground ball, just foul. Suarez at third, Peraza at second, Ramon Cabrera at first. Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the second. Reds trying to dent the scoreboard for the first time. Two-two pitch. Fouls it back again. Pretty nice job hanging in there. Just a 7-pitch first inning. And now 36 and counting here in the second. And the 8th pitch of the at-bat coming in this at-bat to John Lamb. Lamb making his counterpart work.
I'm a little surprised that Friedrich hasn't snapped one off on him. He keeps spoiling the fastball.
Down low. And we've gone full. Nowhere to put John Lamb. Payoff pitch. In the air. Left center field. Positioned perfectly, Jankowski. And Friedrich strands 3 and holds on to 1-0 lead.
Enjoying Mo Egger from 700 WLW for Reds Fan Camp tomorrow night at the Holy Grail. It's your chance to answer Reds trivia, win great prizes, and you could be part of Reds Live. The party starts at 6 tomorrow night at the Holy Grail. All right, Jimmy, Chris, here's the thing. First batters of an inning have been John Lamb's bane this whole season. Are you ready for this? They're hitting .372 against him. This is the first batter of each inning. Their on-base percentage is .449. That is the best in all of baseball, meaning he is the worst in all of baseball. And that .372 average, that's 140th out of 141 starting pitchers. So if you're John Lamb, you need to buckle down on the first batter each inning. And guys, what happened here? First batter in the first 2 innings have both gotten on base.
Well, it gets a little break here in the third with the pitcher leading off, but we'll see. Friedrich does have 2 hits and 16 plate appearances so far this season. And 2 runs driven in.
Well, he, like John Lamb, likes to hit it the other way. Look to left and hit it to right.
Well, he's one of those oddities.
Very much
left-handed
so.
thrower and a right-handed batter. Although you lefties are just odd anyways, aren't you?
Well,
at least that's what I've heard.
Careful now. Just about the whole broadcast crew except you is left-handed. So
well, I'm a different.
You don't want us to team up on you.
I'm a different odd. Many would call me weird.
We wouldn't do that. You see, Friedrich didn't even know that there was ball 4 right there. He had to be told to go to first base by Dan Bellino. This continues just a weird trend by John Lamb. I mean, the first batter that he faces each inning has a batting average coming into this game of .450. So he just is unable to get that leading lady time after time after time, even when it's the opposing pitcher.
Now back to the top of the order, and Travis Jankowski singled to lead off this game. Inside, ball one.
You know, for me, that's just simply a mental walk. You know, you have bases on balls because you can't throw strikes. Maybe physically something's wrong. Your delivery has a quirk in it. Your arm doesn't feel good, whatever it is. But when you walk the opposing pitcher to lead the inning off, time to take a little time out to yourself and have a talk. And say, self, that's the pitcher up there.
Oh, he's gone 2-0 to Travis Jankowski, the rookie. Just turned 25. 2-1. Jankowski, born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. 44th overall pick in the 2012 draft. Line drive center field. Hamilton right there. One out. Hit it well, but an atom ball. And now Will Myers, and he's the subject of our IGS Bringing the Energy ranks among National League first basemen. Check him out. First in hits, first in runs, tied for second with 45 runs driven in, 16 long ones, third in the league. Those of you that like the OPS stat, on base percentage plus slugging, coming in June, 1.185. That is fourth best in all of baseball. Dangerous hitters back to back. Myers and Matt Kemp in the on deck circle. One-0 from Lamb. Cue ball shot. Duvall goes to second, gets the force out. And the second out of the inning.
Well, that's a nice pitch by John Lamb right there. A changeup that Myers swears he is all over, and he can't believe he got it right on the end of the bat. That's how well Lamb is able to sell that changeup as a fastball. That's what he's telling Adam Duvall right there.
Still work to be done with Matt Kemp and a runner at first. I'm trying to keep it a one-run deficit. Close play again over there. Myers looked like he was in quicksand for a moment. Brian Price going to go to the top step as they take a look at it on video. Caught him leaning. Reds pitchers tied for the National League with 8 pickoffs so far this year. Quick throw over. Matt Kemp now 31 years of age. In there for a strike, 1-1. Longtime Dodger, now San Diego Padre. Got the runner. Throw down to Phillips. And a dead duck is Will Myers.
And now the Padres may want a review of that. You know, Myers does an interesting thing right here. He's picked off, he's dead to rights, but he runs on the inside of the base path right there. We may not see it from that angle. But you see he's kind of on the grass. He's trying to cut off the throwing lane between Adam Duvall and Brandon Phillips. Brandon Phillips gets up there high enough in order to get him, and does he get the tag on him?
It's close play. Reds are remaining on the field while they wait for the Padres.
This is just an awkward moment. This is one of these things that Major League Baseball's got to figure out a way to do. Now Andy Green waves him off, and the Reds will come off the field.
All right, caught stealing on the play. Streaming sports service delivers everything you have come to expect and more. It also includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Will Myers having a discussion with Freddie Benavidez after being picked off or caught stealing, however you would like to refer to it, to end the third. Reds down a run. The top of the order coming up at Zach Kozar. Reds have scored just 2 runs or fewer in each of their last 4 home games. So they like to turn up the wick offensively.
And the Padres have done just about the opposite. They have scored 5 or more in 6 of their last 7.
Hold the string.
With the Reds scoring so few runs, kind of odd because, you know, when you're playing the American League, you got that designated hitter. Automatically, you think, well, there's more opportunity for scoring when you don't send the pitcher to the plate.
0-2 to Kozar. Foul back. Well, we had a bit of an oddity in Texas because usually those American League games, particularly in American League parks, are longer. And they scored 10 runs in game 1. It was a 2-hour and 29-minute game. 10 runs between the 2 squads last night, 238. Very rare that you see 10 runs scored in an American League played game under 3 hours. It wasn't even close to 3 hours each game. Hit well into left field. Goes to the wall. Kozart will stroll into second base with his team leading 19th double of the season.
But Kozart just jumps all over this high pitch, a fastball that looks like it was even up and out of the strike zone. Boy, he has turned himself into one of the best fastball hitters in this league.
7-game hitting streak now for Zach. Here's Billy Hamilton. Grounded out back in the first. Billy's had a struggle since coming off of that concussion disabled list. 3 for 20 since coming off the DL. 150 average in 5 appearances. Friedrich will step off. Friedrich, the product of Eastern Kentucky University, as we told you earlier, is the only first-round pick ever from EKU.
They're the Colonels, aren't they? The Colonels at EKU?
I believe you're right.
Just a little bit south of Lexington.
Into left field, base hit. And Billy's going to second base. Sneak attack by Hamilton. Ball gets by and Cozart's going to score. Hamilton on to third. And we're tied at 1. Billy caught him napping. Forced the action and forced the run in.
You know, against a normal player, it's not napping, because normal players don't do what Billy Hamilton does. He comes out of the box thinking, I'm going to get the first base as quickly as I can. Cozart cruises into third base, and Billy never stops when the throw normally comes in as it does to the cutoff man. A hurried throw to Rosales at second, gets into shallow right field. Cozart scores. And Billy Hamilton, on a little safety single to left field, ends up on third. Welcome to Saturday morning knothole.
Well, at this point, they've scored that a double, which is interesting. See if that remains. However you slice it up, Reds have tied it up. Phillips with one sitting out there at third. Nobody out here in the bottom of the third. 1-1 game. Foul back.
This time we'll take a look at Billy Hamilton as he hits that ball in the left field. Watch him run it all the way right here. I'm just going to lob it on in there to the cutoff man like usual, but that's where the brain cramp started, and it ended up costing the Padres a run, and we've got a tie ball game.
A fly ball to the outfield will give the Reds the lead. Inside 2-2.
And you know that had been gone over in the pregame scouting report. All the hitters get into one meeting and defenders get in one meeting. The pitchers get in a different. I guarantee you, they talked about Billy Hamilton in both of those meetings.
That last error was on the third baseman, Solarte. Both teams with an error in this game so far. And both have resulted in a run. Upton Jr. on the steal in the second. Error by Cabrera allowed him to go to third. That made an easy RBI ground out for Alexei Ramirez. So both errors have come into play. 3-2 pitch to Phillips. Grounded up the middle, base hit. Billy scores easily, and the Reds have taken a 2-1 lead. piece of hitting, Brandon Phillips.
A pitch is down and out over the plate. May have been a rare changeup. I'm not really sure what Friedrich threw on that pitch, except that Brandon Phillips was able to bounce it into a hole right through the middle to pick up a run batted in.
Darren Balsley, the pitching coach for the Padres, out for a conversation. And I would like to know what those conversations are, because reading up on Friedrich, say he's a really smart guy and quite analytical. And he said about himself, quote, "I do tend to overanalyze. The best piece of advice guys give me every time I turn around to a pitching coach or something is stop thinking. That's your problem." I have often heard that in my life too, for other reasons. Now Jay Bruce. Still nobody out. 2 runs in, and Brandon Phillips at first base. Laid off an outside pitch. We're even up 1-1. Foul back, 1-2. Last 23 appearances, Bruce coming in .333 average. 8 home runs in those 23 appearances, and a cool 26 runs driven in 23. And the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Down goes Bruce for out number 1 here in the 3rd. Second strikeout of the night for Friedrich.
Well, Duvall was the other strikeout victim. He went down on strikes looking the first time up. And what we've seen out of Duvall is his ability to adapt and adjust. After learning something about a pitcher the first time up, comes right back and has a much better at bat the second time.
First pitch to Adam, into right field, hit well, and gone. Home run number 21 on the season for Duvall. The Reds have broken it up here in the 3rd.
Well, Adam Duvall just taking that pitch the other way. This is what he will tell you the reason he is hitting the ball so well, because he goes to the plate thinking use the entire field. And in this ballpark, when the temperature starts heating up and the ball jumps when you put the good part of the bat on it, going hoppage is something he can do and be happy about it.
Continues to lead the Reds in long balls, 21 of them now. The product from Louisville. Now he is tied with Nolan Arenado for the National League lead in home runs.
I think that ties him in the all of Major League Baseball with 21, unless there were some home runs hit by maybe Frazier Trumbo hit one today, but that puts him right along the leaderboard with those other top 4.
Continues to surprise the baseball world.
And he's nowhere to be found on the All-Star ballot voting list.
Now a walk to Suarez, the 3rd walk of the game for Friedrich. Reds have plated 4 here in the 3rd. Still only 1 down. And Jose Peraza singled back in the 2nd. So after starting well. Friedrich with just a 7-pitch first inning. Threw 39 in the second. And now 22 pitches thrown so far here in the 4-run third for Cincinnati.
I don't know what it is about Friedrich and pitching against the Reds. He's had a few starts, 2 starts against the Reds prior to tonight. Of course, not in a Padre uniform, but with the Colorado Rockies, and his earned run average is 7.5. And that baby's heading north after tonight.
Battery mates not on the same page right here. Peraza digs back in. Home folks getting the first look at Jose Peraza in the home park.
Well, I hope they get to see a lot more of Peraza, because we heard a lot about him when the Reds made that trade. Of course, he was included in the Todd Frazier deal, three-team deal that ended up bringing Peraza from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Originally came up with the Atlanta Braves. And what we've always heard about Peraza, scatter report wise, is good contact, plenty of speed, and very versatile defensively. Just a good athlete, and only 22 years old.
You've got to be a good athlete to just throw a guy out there in left field when you've never played it, not only at the major league level. He had not played it professionally. Played some in spring training, but that was it. Now making his second start in left tonight. You could probably even put him down there at third base. He'd be all right. One of those guys that just looks smooth on the diamond. I'm sure the Reds would like to see him walk a little more. In fact, this whole team could perhaps draw some more walks. A very aggressive swinging team are the Reds. Both these squads here tonight don't walk much. Ranked 13th and 14th in the league in base on balls. Peraza grounder to short. Speed won't get Peraza at first, but they do get the force out. 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Now Ramon Cabrera with the second at bat. Cabrera walked back in the second. Pitch count already up to 72. Now 73 as he pulls the string on Cabrera. The 0-1. There goes the runner. A fly ball, pop ball. Shortstop. Ramirez gloves it for the 3rd out. But Adam Duvall, 2-run home run, part of a 4-run inning for the Reds, and they lead by 3. Honor Pete Rose during the Reds Hall of Fame induction weekend here at the ballpark. A couple days from now on Saturday, arrive early and see the Hit King honored during a special Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by PNC Bank. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/Pete. On time in the making, number 14. He retired this weekend. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to him putting on that red jacket. Matt Kemp will lead off the fourth for the Padres.
Well, so far in this ball game, every first batter of an inning that John Lamb has faced has reached base. See if he can turn that around here as he faces Kemp.
The Reds give him a 3-run lead. Swing and a miss, 1-1. There was a time in Matt Kemp's career where you could arguably say at the time he was playing the best baseball in all the major leagues. He was with the Dodgers. He had a stretch where he was outstanding. If it's fair, it's gone. And it's fair, and it's gone. Home run number 16 on the year for Kemp. So the first batter of the inning in each inning continues to be the bugaboo for John Lamb.
Well, if you're up by 4, solo shots don't hurt you so much. I think John Lamb probably went out there with the resolve of throwing strikes to the first hitter. Certainly didn't want to walk him like he did the hitter to start the inning last time, which was the pitcher.
Kemp continues his blistering pace here in June. Solarte with the second at bat of the game. Padres came in a hot hitting team in June overall. Coming in, they are averaging 5.45 runs per game. That's the best in the National League as far as runs per game in a month. Last time the Padres led the National League in runs per game for a month, any month, was May 2005. As Solarte went chasing and got none. Third strikeout for Lamb.
That's that changeup, and we've seen John Lamb throw that very effectively. In fact, he used it a couple of times in that at bat to Solarte. And Melvin Upton might be another player that would be a good candidate to use that changeup.
Comes with the fastball at 90. Lamb ahead 0-2 to Melvin Upton Jr. Laid off 1-2. Fouled out of play. Overall, these two teams are very similar as far as they strike out a lot and they don't walk a lot. San Diego coming in at 657 strikeouts as a team, second most in the National League. The Reds fifth most in the National League. 1-2, swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts, John Lamb. 2 outs here in the 4th. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to our Miller Time moment later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Good night for a cold one.
You better believe it is.
So with 2 outs, catcher Derek Norris. Norris popped out in the 2nd. Duvall will tag Norris for the 3rd out. But Matt Kemp goes yard and makes it a 4-2 game. Sports Ohio is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on U.S. News Best Children's Hospitals. Take a look in the Phioptics Gigabar, one of the newest areas of Great American Ballpark this year. A terrific area for the youngsters. Does anyone that has youngsters know keeping the attention span can be a challenge? Slip away and play a little ping pong and a number of things up there in that area, and never lose track of the game because they got all kinds of big screen HD TVs up there. That's what we like to see right there. She's surveying the area. John Lamb will lead off the bottom half of the 4th for the Reds. Pitcher versus pitcher. Christian Friedrich delivers the first pitch to Lamb.
John Lamb, one of those hitters that stands way in the front part of the batter's box. Maybe trying to catch that breaking ball before it starts to snap.
Look out. Christian Friedrich. If you were to guess, what type of music do you think he likes? Putting you on the spot, I know.
I would say that he's electronic dance music guy.
Really?
Yeah.
0-2 pitch to Lamb.
And
well, I'm going to surprise you here. Rock and roll. Led Zeppelin, The Doors, Steely Dan, the Doobie Brothers, and Grand Funk Railroad are his favorite groups. How about that?
Grand Funk. I'm your captain.
Saturday, MLB returns with a game you can only see on FS1 when these two teams square off at 4 Eastern. Then it's baseball night in America with a battle between the Dodgers and the Pirates at 7 Eastern on your local Fox station, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. He also likes the Fallout Boys, hometown band that he likes. But he says absolutely no Beatles. For whatever reason, doesn't like the Beatles. But old school rock and roll. I would have never guessed he liked Steely Dan or Grand Funk Railroad, one of Marty Brenneman's favorite groups of all time.
But he's trying to figure out a way to kind of get back into the groove that he had in the first, say, 5 or 6 batters of this ball game. He retired the first 5 before he went into a Wild Thing impersonation and started getting the ball up around the letters. The Padres are their starting rotation. They're just trying to find healthy arms out there to give them innings.
2 of their frontline starters out.
Well, they have not had Tyson Ross since the very beginning of the year. He pitched the opening day, and then that was it. Went on the DL and have not seen him since. Andrew Cashner's had a couple of trips to the disabled list due to some neck issues. So the Padres are really where the Reds were early in the year, just looking for arms to try to fill innings.
Ground ball to third. Solarte makes the play for the second out. Well, these two teams are very similar. The fewest total MLB starts for current 5-man rotation. The Padres just 133 major league starts, and the Reds right behind him with just 136. So Andy Green had to do some piecemeal work, just like Brian Price's counterpart. Billy Hamilton trying to improve on a 1-2 night. Exciting play back in the third. Or stretch what should have been a single into a double. Forced to throwing air and forced to run in the first run of the game. Shoots this one into center, but right at Jankowski. 3 up, 3 down in the 4th for Cincinnati.
Monday, a big day for Homer Bailey. He will get the start for Louisville. Earlier today, Brian Price talked about the importance of getting Bailey back.
certainly one of those testing opportunities to see where he is. And the thing is he's gotten off to a good start before in his rehab, and we pushed it back here a little bit now after he had some issues with his elbow, and he's looked phenomenal really ever since he picked up his throwing program.
So Brian Price says it's going to take him about 5 starts to stretch him to 90 to 100 pitches. Then you could hopefully expect him back here in Cincinnati, gentlemen.
And that'll be big. Been waiting on Homer. Brian said it'll be a minimum, at least now. It's tough to forecast long term. Minimum of 5 starts down there to get him to that 90-95 pitch mark that Pick talked about. Down to Arizona and started facing live hitters down there for the first time. All the reports were good.
Well, there should be absolutely no hurry whatsoever bringing Homer Bailey back.
Right.
I mean, you've got him signed up for a long time. You want him healthy from the time that he's activated to the very end of that contract. You don't want Homer Bailey to miss 1 start.
Peraza gloves the first out of the inning off the bat of Alexi Ramirez. Well, Homer said it too. He wants to come back once. He doesn't want to come back and risk re-injuring it or facing any type of problems or having to be shut down again. He wants to come back once. And don't look now, but John Lamb retired the first batter of an inning. Now faces Adam Rosales, the former Red. Still wearing that high socks look.
You know, there's 2 ways to wear the high sock look. One is to take the pants that they issue you and roll them up so that they come down to around just below your knees. The other way is to have your pants hemmed at the knees.
Those look hemmed.
And I think so do John Lamb's. Yep, you can see the elastic band right there at the very bottom. So,
yep.
You know, I really think that it helps hitters get called a more accurate strike zone at the very bottom of the zone.
I agree with you. 2-1 pitch.
I remember talking back and forth with Adam Dunn for years, and he wouldn't want to have those pants, you know, they were hugging the ground at the bottom of his pants.
He wore them like pajamas.
And they were big and baggy, and the umpires had no idea where the bottom of his knees were. And as tall as Adam Dunn was, he would always say, well, you know, you're calling that low pitch way too low on me. I'm 6 feet 5 inches tall. And the umpire would say, well, I don't know where your knees are. I can't see them in those pajamas.
Walk to Adam Rosales, and typical Adam Rosales sprints down to first base. Hit King would like that.
Now, by walking the number 8 hitter, you set up perfectly the job ahead for the pitcher coming to the plate. And that's obviously get up in front of the batter's box and lay a butt down.
Squares around, gets it down, and a good one. Sacrifice 1-3. And with 2 down, a runner in scoring position. Following each and every Reds game here on Fox Sports Ohio, we'll put a capper on it like no one else. It's Reds Live, brought to you by Performance Kings Honda for a complete recap, and as always, you'll hear from the manager before anyone else and more. Top of the order, Travis Jankowski. First pitch inside, ball 1. I'm working on the extreme first base side of that rubber. ball, 1 strike.
Kind of interesting because you're going to see if you stick around long enough this weekend and watch some of the other left-handed pitchers that are out there, you'll see Brandon Finnegan, for instance, pitch from the extreme third base side of the rubber.
Yep.
So everybody has their own theory right here. This, I think, helps Lamb with left-handers and the angle of his breaking ball.
Look out.
And because Lamb's changeup is essentially a four-seam changeup that he throws and it drops straight down rather than runs away very much from a right-handed hitter, I think that being over there on the first base side of the rubber really doesn't bother you there at all. Talked to Tommy Glavine a little bit when the Reds were down in Atlanta playing the Braves, and I asked him what side of the rubber he was on, and he was always on the third base side. So you can be all over the place as long as it's your comfort zone. And it wasn't all that long ago, about 3 years ago, that the major leagues changed the rules about having the pitcher and his foot in full contact with the rubber. Now all you need is a little bit of your foot, whether it's the heel or your toe, any part of it in contact with the rubber is good enough. Used to be after your whole foot had to be there.
Cabrera setting up outside. Lamb has gone full to Travis Jankowski.
Well, he was having one heck of a year down in the minor leagues last year. Hit .392 in 24 games at their AAA.
Ball right at Phillips. Lamb strands a runner. And the Reds continue to lead. For tomorrow's Pete Rose weekend begins with a special Reds Live starting at 6 o'clock and an on-field ceremony to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the 1976 World Champions. Catch it right here on Fox Sports Ohio or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Swing into Summer is presented by Miller Lite. Let's check out tonight's Quicken Loans Rocket Arms. Most strikeouts in a Reds MLB debut. Johnny Cueto, 10 punch-outs in 7 innings of work back in 2008. Cody Reed made his major league debut on the road, 9 strikeouts in 7 innings pitched Saturday at Houston. We can't wait for Cody Reed to make his Great American Ballpark debut, and that coming up tomorrow night. Pretty exciting when you talk about Johnny Cueto. The 3 arms the Reds got right now, back to back to back in the rotation. Lamb tonight, Cody Reed tomorrow, Brandon Finnegan on Saturday. Coming out of the All-Star break, though, Brian Price did talk about breaking up those lefties, not wanting to go 3 lefties in a row in the rotation, and also mentioned limiting innings coming up later in the summer, particularly Cody Reed and Brandon Finnegan. So we'll see what happens with the rotation once Homer Bailey gets back, and if there indeed is an innings limit for those two gentlemen. Not necessarily worried as much about John Lamb, he says, because he got a late start to the season. Reed has pitched all year with AAA Louisville, now here with the Reds. Charging is Solarte. Lost to first. The first out here in the 5th.
Solarte makes a nice play. We've seen him go behind the bag or near the bag at third base, backhanded, and make a play to first on Billy Hamilton in the first inning. Nice little slow roller play right there. Now he will run over into the right side of the infield as the Padres employ the shift on Jay Bruce.
Bruce 0 for 2. Trying to extend his 8-game hitting streak. Side corner for strike 1. The 0-1. No balls, 2 strikes. And the 0-2. Ground ball right into the shift.
You know what you see Jay Bruce do on every time he hits a ground ball there? He busts it right down the line, because sometimes those outfielders, infielders, whatever you want to call them, are in shallow right field, and he makes it close, even though it's essentially a routine ground ball. This is fielded by Rosales, but that's just the way you play the game. And here's a guy that plays every day, day in and day out.
Breaking ball, first pitch strike to Adam Duvall. Last time up, 2-run home run. Tied for the National League lead in home runs now with 21. Clean single into left. With 2 outs and 1 aboard. See what Eugenio Suarez can come up with.
Well, just a short approach to the ball. I mean, if you want to start mimicking a swing that you see that is copyable and repeatable, of course, it takes some strength. He's got tremendously strong hands and wrists. That's just a nice, sweet, very simple approach that Adam Duvall has.
In spring training, he was one of the first guys that you notice. That guy's made some changes, and particularly shortening that swing. Easier said than done, and he has done it. Eighth inning bomb last night. Eugenio Suarez. 3-run home run off of Jake Diekman. That was his first home run since June 3rd. Took a bit of a drought. Suarez now with 14 home runs on the season. 38 runs driven in. Christian Friedrich getting up near that century mark and pitches. Pitch number 98 on the way. Inside. And the 3-1 pitch. Inside corner, strike 2. For those numbers. Base is empty, just 181. Much better with a runner on. There goes Duvall with ball 4. So Eugenio's got 3 plate appearances and 3 walks.
Well, Andy Green's wonder what's going on out there, and of course I'm not sure what the expectations are long term for Christian Friedrich, given the fact that he came into camp on a minor league contract. Reds have been that route with a number of pitchers this year. And if you get positive out of him, I mean, there's really nothing to lose. The downside is that you're wondering if he gets off to a good start. Friedrich has pitched very well except for his last time out. You just wonder how long that string can last. Darren Balsley getting his semi-sprints in tonight.
Well, action in the Padres pen. Mr. Hahn is warming up. That would be Brad Hahn. Two outs and 2 on for Jose Peraza. Served into center field, but Jankowski right there. Reds continue to lead 4-2. To a great value this season. It's the Kroger Meal Deal. Check concession stands throughout the ballpark for the Kroger Meal Deal, which includes a hot dog, a bag of chips, 16-ounce Coke, and during this homestand, General Mills Go-Gurt. Make sure you get your Kroger meal today. GABP. Move on to the 6th. It's holding on to a 2-run lead.
It's been such a quiet night for the Padres. It just seems like more than a 2-run ball game right now. The way that Christian Friedrich has really struggled almost every inning with runners on base. He's pitched out of jams. He's had 2 1-2-3 innings, but he's labored in the other 3. Meanwhile, John Lamb has put together a nice outing.
Lamb facing Will Myers. Grounded out in the 1st, reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd, but was caught stealing. Lamb working from the windup on the 3rd base side of the rubber. 63 miles per hour. Now the 3-1 pitch. Leadoff walk. So Lamb gave up a single to the first batter he faced in the first, a single to the first batter in the second, walked the first batter in the third, gave up a home run to the first batter in the fourth, retired the first batter last inning, but here a leadoff walk to Will Myers. Matt Kemp last time sent one to left field out of here in a hurry.
Yeah, and if you remember the pitch, it was a slider on the inner third down around knee high. You know, Kemp is a guy that can still chase that pitch low and away, and now that he's seen the fastball, that changeup that Lamb has thrown has been very effective. Got to keep it down and away though.
Missile shot.
Yeah, the only question really was whether it was going to stay foul or not. He hit it so hard, those have a tendency to hook. You know what that's all about.
You talk about my drive on the golf course. Slow roller. Phillips coming a long way, has to barehand get the out. Fox Sports Ohio Champions Club, one of my favorite spots in the ballpark. You know, a lot of these games have become social hours here.
And why not?
Heck yeah. Lots of good eats up there. TVs all over the place. And then the seats out here in the club level are amongst my favorite seats in the park. Fans enjoying a Thursday night in the Queen City. Runner in scoring position for Solarte, who comes up missing on the first pitch from Lamb.
First time he's getting a fastball early in the count. Solarte had been led off previously with 2 changeups. Well, you can see why you want to change speeds on him. He's leaving the ground when he swings that bat.
On Hervis Solarte. Lamb ahead 0-2. Got the pitch he wants, and here he comes. Fouled back. Here are those seats I was talking about in the Champions Club. Come on out the door here. It's basically on the second level above the lower bowl. Reds dug outside. A good ticket. Get a little bit of everything and a lot of bit of food. Lamb wants to go through the signs again with a runner out there at second base. You'll see a different sequence of signs when there is a runner on second. That runner is Will Myers. Solarte likes to crowd that plate. 2-2 pitch. Foul back. Rip but foul. Nice souvenir. Did she catch that or did he?
I don't know.
He gave it to her. Nicely done. That'll win some brownie points. Pitch number 100 from John Lamb. And it misses upstairs, 3-2. Oh, the double ricochet and the bobble. It comes up with it and says, here you go. For me, really?
How nice is that?
It's all about.
Gonna get a chance for another one here. Same area. Well, John Lamb has successfully made this 0-2 count into a full count a couple of times now. He's surpassed the 100 pitch mark. He's now getting ready to throw pitch number 10 in this at bat to Solarte. Solarte's got 4 home runs and he's got to drop one in there.
They're waving around Myers. He will score easily. It's a 1-run game. RBI single. Yangervis Solarte.
Boy, fooled way out in front, but just got it out at the end of the bat and was able to drop it in there. And now a 1-run game. And Brian Price going to waste no time at all as he comes out of the dugout.
JC Ramirez has been warming up in the Reds pen. And he's about to be called upon. As Lamb will be taken down with 1 out here in the 6th. In a 1-run game and the tying run aboard. Here comes Ramirez. It's our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen.
Telecast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
1 out into the 6th inning and 1 run in, tying run aboard. Brian Price brings on the righty JC Ramirez.
Well, the hard-throwing right-hander who is now 27 years old. The Reds picked him up off the waiver wire, and he's a young man who is from Managua, Nicaragua. Throw that fastball up to about 98 miles an hour. He's got a good hard slider. And he's got a right-handed part of the lineup coming up here for the Padres.
Starting with Melvin Upton Jr. Ramirez is the only player born in Nicaragua to ever play for the Reds. many of the bullpenners for the Reds this year. It's been an up and down season for Ramirez. Back on the 15th of this month. Became the first Reds pitcher to record 6 strikeouts in 2 innings of work. It's the first time since 2014 any Reds reliever had done that. 1-0 to Upton. 1-1. 97 on the gun.
I mean, after seeing pitches as slow as 66 miles an hour, actually 63 was the low point for John Lamb, velocity wise. That's a big jump to see Ramirez now dialing it up in the high 90s.
But Upton says no problem. Sends it into center field for a base hit. So trouble continues here in the 6th for the Reds. 2 on, 1 out for Derek Norris. Season average sitting at 212. The Padres catcher.
Well, Norris is not necessarily a very old player. He's only 27 years old. But, you know, when we see scouts around here, and there are a lot of scouts following the Reds over the last few series, you know, there's word around the Padre camp that Norris might be a trade candidate.
One ball, 1 strike. Here comes the 1-1. Hit well into left field. At the wall, but gone. Derek Norris changes this game in a hurry. 3-run home run, his 10th of the season, and the Padres have reclaimed the lead. John Lamb could do nothing but look on.
Well, a slider right here from J.C. Ramirez, and it looks like it begins a downward break, but boy, does it catch too much height right there. Norris puts a good swing on it, and in this ballpark, that's a home run. If he's playing back in Petco, that's a harmless ball that probably doesn't even get to the warning track. But they'll take it as they enjoy their first game here in Homer Happy Great American Ballpark.
Well, it's been won both season series last year against the Reds. And in the last 12 games are 9-3 against Cincinnati.
Well, there are some of the people here that are accompanying the Padres who say how appropriate it was that the Padres are in town during the Pete Rose induction weekend. After all, the Padres were in town when he had the record-breaking hit. Eric Schau on the mound. Steve Garvey at first base.
Yep.
You remember those videos and those still shots? Seen so many times over the years.
Four-run 6th inning so far for the Padres. And you can close the book on John Lamb. 5 1/3, 4 hits, 4 runs given up, 3 walks and 4 strikeouts.
And another outing for John Lamb where you look up and you're in the 5th or 6th inning and you're over the 100 pitch count. And when you're pitching in the heat and humidity of Cincinnati in the middle of the summer, you've got to figure out a way to be a little more efficient.
Of those 4 runs, 3 were earned for Lamb. He threw 102 pitches. and unfortunately has gotten no help from his bullpen. Upton Jr. delivers a single, Norris a home run. Two batters that Ramirez has faced. But Alexei Ramirez flies out to left for out number 2. Coach Mark Riggins probably echo your sentiments about pitch efficiency, particularly in this ballpark. And now Adam Rosales. 0 for 1 and a walk. One pitch. No balls, 2 strikes. Check swing. Got some lumber. Stays 0-2. Swing and a miss. Ramirez strikes out Rosales, but a 4 spot put on the board by the Padres. They lead by 2.
So that's Pete Rose talking about where he likes to play. And I'll tell you what, it is amazing, the numbers. It is our lows. Never stop improving. Highest career average by ballpark, Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta at 338 there. And then Crosley and Synergy Field right here in Cincinnati, 317 and 313. Of course, Pete had a career average of 303. But, man, he loved to hit in Atlanta. 338. Wow. Gentlemen?
Hit King. Tell you what, growing up a lifelong Reds fan, and I know you are too, Chris. If you would have told me years ago that I would be sitting in this chair calling play-by-play for the Reds as Pete Rose goes into the Reds Hall of Fame and the next booth over from Dick Enberg, I would have said you are crazy. There's no chance I will ever achieve that.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege, really, and you pinch yourself every time you come up here, especially on a weekend like this when the Reds are able to get back so many of that 1976 team to celebrate the 40th anniversary of their domination of baseball. I mean, I just can't wait for the weekend to unfold. There's going to be so many great events down here at the ballpark and around the city. And if you're unable to make it, obviously we are going to have nonstop cover-to-cover coverage.
We certainly have got you covered. Hour-long Reds Live tomorrow. You'll see the pregame festivities with the 40th anniversary of the Big Red Machine from '76. On Saturday, the game is on Fox Sports 1. But we will be on the air at 3:30 for Reds Live, a special Reds Live, in which you will see the induction ceremony on the field for Peter Edward Rose. And then on Sunday, another hour-long Reds Live as they retire the number 14 before the game. And there it is. Long weekend, but a good one. You won't miss a thing. We invite you, particularly on Saturday, to get that remote control. Check us out at 3:30 in the game on FS1 at 4. And if you're coming to the game, and lots of you are, make sure you get here early. The ceremony starts 40 minutes before first pitch. Assume if you're coming to the game, that's the highlight. You want to get here early for it. Make your plans accordingly. By the way, there's a new pitcher on the hill for San Diego. It is Brad Hand, the lefty. And Ramon Cabrera is wearing him out. Mr. Hand, a 3.79 ERA, 33 games so far this season. Hard hit ball off the glove of Ramirez into left field, and Cabrera's aboard. See how they score that? That's got to be a base hit, isn't it?
Really got to be a base hit. It was hit very hard. A number of steps to his right did Ramirez go, and the ball just stayed underneath his glove.
And it is indeed a base hit.
No, I think they said E6.
I thought they said base hit. E6. That's a tough air right there. Stop assuming. All right, pinch hitter now, Tyler Holt in the pitcher spot. Energy guy. And really the class clown of the clubhouse. Trying to cut into a 6-4 Padres lead.
Well, Holt might be the class clown, but he's getting more at bats and more playing time this year than he has ever had before in the major leagues. He's been previously in the big leagues, a little bit of the Reds last year at the very end of the season, before that with the Cleveland Indians.
He has never faced Brad Hand. Ground ball to short, could be 2. Holt runs well, safe.
Busting it down the line, Holt turns nothing into something, meaning a double play into at least a fielder's choice right there. So the Reds have a little speed on the base pass as they turn the lineup over.
And now the top of the order, Zach Kozar. Doubled in the third and scored, extended his hitting streak to 7 games. Cozart has faced Hand twice, 1 for 2. The 0-1 pitch to the Red shortstop. 1-1. The big inning's been the story of this one. The Reds with 4 in the 3rd, and the Padres 4 runs scored in the 6th to add to their 1 run scored in the 2nd and the 4th. The difference in this game. Inside strike called by Dan Bellino, and Cozart didn't like it. Right on the edge. Hand ahead, 1-2. Swing and a miss, chased a bad one. First strikeout for Hand.
You know, I think the key to Cozart chasing that last pitch was that the previous pitch was right on the corner, as we showed you by our box tracks. That was called a strike, and when it came out of his hand, that looked like an identical pitch for Cozart. He chased it, it darted out of the zone. That's a dandy of a couple of sequence pitches there by Brad Hand.
And now Billy. Tyler Holt taking his lead from first. Throw over.
You wonder if maybe they'll let Tyler Holt go ahead and run right here if he feels like he picks the right pitch. I mean, the downside of it is you lead off the inning with Billy Hamilton if he is thrown out.
Not going this time. Fouled off. Double-barreled action in the Reds' pen. Michael Lorenzen and Josh Smith. And we've been waiting anxiously for Lorenzen's first appearance of the season. Tyler Holt has 4 stolen bases on the season. He's been caught twice. That's a pretty view right there. You love baseball. How can you not like that? Got him picked off. Holt in the rundown. He'll be tagged out easily by Myers. The Reds come up empty in the 6th. The third. Brandon Phillips got the Reds on the board with a single to center. And Adam Duvall, 2-run home run in the third. His 21st of the season. And the Reds were in business until Padres woke up again. Matt Kemp hooks one around the pole. Solo shot in the fourth, but the big damage done in the sixth. Derek Norris takes J.C. Ramirez downtown. 3-run bomb. And that's the difference in this game. 6-4 as we move on to the seventh. And a new pitcher on for Cincinnati. It's righty Josh Smith. Smith will face a pinch hitter to lead off the seventh inning. It's Ryan Schimpf. Hit in the pitcher spot for Brad Hand. On the road trip, Josh Smith took the proverbial taken one for the team. The Reds were strapped in the bullpen. Did not have Alfredo Simon, who's since been on the DL. After Cody Reed's major league debut, Cody went 7 innings. And that game ended up going 11 innings. Josh Smith pitched 3 1/3 innings. Really put into a tough situation on that night.
I thought he pitched a great game. I mean, he was essentially the last man standing for the Reds. Ended up getting tagged with the loss, but 3 1/3, 1 run, 7 hits overall. He danced around some trouble, but he really showed me a lot. And very quietly, Josh Smith has pitched himself into being a very dependable right-handed reliever out of this bullpen. I mean, he went through his first 4 outings without giving up a run at all. He got tagged for a couple of runs in an inning and 2/3 against the Cardinals. But other than that, he's just pitched really fine baseball. And he keeps it simple. Fastball, slider. And he's able to locate to that first base side of home plate. That's been his key.
2-2 pitch. Look out.
That's a good example right there. I mean, that's not an easy spot for a right-handed pitcher to get. And a left-handed hitter, you know, sometimes you're bailing on that pitch, and when you do hit it, you're going to pull a foul. Wow.
Wow, that ball was ripped, obviously. Good thing for that barrier that's glass, which you would think would be unbreakable glass, but obviously not. Man. Two again. He's way ahead. Schimpf continues to fight him off. 8 pitch at bat so far. High in the air, right field. Bruce calling off Hamilton. 1 out.
Well, the new Padre manager, Andy Green, comes back, essentially back into Reds country where he knows so well. As mentioned earlier, born in Lexington, Kentucky, went to the University of Kentucky. And he has the honor tonight of having his old coach, Keith Madison, in the stands. There's Keith right there. That you see with a big smile on his face. 25 years at the helm of University of Kentucky baseball. More wins down there than any other University of Kentucky coach. In fact, Madison at one time was a Reds farmhand. Signed with the Reds back in the early 70s. Back around 72, he played for the Tampa Tarpons, an A-ball club in the Florida State League. He also played Double-A in Three Rivers before he was released in 74. He's coached a number of major leaguers, including Andy Green, Jim Leyritz, Joe Blanton, and Cy Young Award winner Brandon Webb. So, and one of the all-time good guys, Keith Madison.
Brandon Webb was the college teammate of Andy Green. Gotta be proud of him.
And Andy Green, you know, he gives back a lot. He has 3 times gone with Keith Madison and SCORE International, which is a charity that helps out the poor, and they've gone down the Dominican Republic 3 years in a row now. Andy Green giving his time to go down there and work as a missionary, and done a lot of good. Last year they took the University of Louisville baseball team with them. Had a great experience for all.
That's good stuff. Andy Green not only, as we said earlier, not only went to UK, but was born in Lexington, July 7th, 1977. 38-year-old. Currently ranks as the Wildcats' career all-time leader in runs scored, games played, hits, and at-bats. Into left field. Peraza, 2 down. Andy Green graduated from Lexington Christian Academy in 1996, and listen to this. He was his class valedictorian and the Kentucky High School Athlete of the Year.
Yeah, the scholarship that he got down to UK was actually an academic scholarship.
Oh, he got a finance degree. Maybe he's helping out the general manager with some of these contracts, particularly Upton Jr. and Matt Kemp. Andy Green, his first season as the Padres skipper, first year big league manager, and really only his second year in the bigs. Joined the Padres after spending the 2015 season as the third base coach for the Diamondbacks, his first season as a major league coach. Prior to that, compiled a 219, 189 record, 4 seasons as manager in the Diamondbacks minor league system. So getting a shot at with the big club.
And he didn't wait long to get ejected from his first game either.
Yeah.
You may have remembered the play. It happened in early April, where there was a balk called on one of the pitchers, a Padre pitcher, Colin Rieth. And then the ball call was reversed, and then it was reversed again. Of course, Green came out to argue with the umpires. Eventually, Brian Gorman ejected Green and had to be escorted off the field by Mark McGuire. So Padres sent some muscle out to get him.
Yes. Mark McGuire, the bench coach now for the Padres.
Although I imagine he dispenses a little bit of hitting advice along the way.
I would think so. Hitting coach previously with the Dodgers and the Cardinals. Now a bench coach, and all indications hopes to be a big league skipper someday. Will Myers draws a 2-out walk. Be a tough job for Alan Zinter, who's the hitting coach for the Padres, to have Mark McGuire as the bench coach, because some guys would have a tendency to maybe pick the brain of Mark McGuire.
Yeah, that's probably okay, though.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not do that? Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a team effort.
Yep.
I think where you run into the danger zone is when you bring back former players as guest instructors, and they just mention a couple of things to hitters, innocently most of the time.
Right.
And all of a sudden the hitter thinks, well, that guy, man, he was really, really good. Maybe I should, and he's been watching me. He said he's been watching me on TV. Maybe I should do what he suggests. Meanwhile, that guest instructor is back home, and that player is trying to struggle or trying to get the struggles through, maybe taking advice that he shouldn't take.
Josh Smith here trying to keep it a 2-run game. 2 outs, runner aboard. Matt Kemp working on a 1-for-3 night with that solo home run in the 4th. What, they keep catching runners leaning. Did some close plays over there at first. A 1 pitch. Fouled out of play. No balls, 2 strikes to the Padres right fielder. And the 0-2. 1-2. Matt Kemp, born in Midwest City, Oklahoma, resides in San Diego, and why not? Signed through the 2019 season. Came over in a trade from the Dodgers, which has a Reds tied to it. Former Red Yasmani Grandal went to the Dodgers along with Zach Eflin, Joe Weiland. He and Tim Fedorovich came to the Padres. Check swing, appeal. Nope.
You know, and it may not say in the media guide in which you're reading from, Jim, that I'm wondering if any money may have accompanied Matt Kemp from Los Angeles to San Diego in that deal, because that was a deal that obviously the Dodgers had so much money wrapped up in a number of different players. They needed to get some of them off the payroll. And
indeed, cash considerations. The phrase cash considerations at this point, those cash are more than considerations. In fact, a boatload. How about $32.5 million?
That would help defray some of the cost and make the Padres a little bit more incentive to take on that salary.
That's more than a consideration. $32.5 million from the Dodgers, but Dodgers have money to spend.
Padres, what, 9 games out of the wild card race right now. I don't know whether they have aspirations of catching any of the teams that are ahead of them. They've got to get a little bit going, and the Reds are going. It gets them going too. 2 runs down.
6-4 to Padres. Harper, Mike Trout, and all of baseball superstars come together for the prime time event of the summer. It'll light up San Diego, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, July 12th. You can see it only on Fox. And your updated NL All-Star starters, as voted on by the fans. Cespedes, Harper, and Fowler in the outfield. This has the Cubs flavor. Look at the infield. Mercy. But they're having that type of year. Even though just got swept by the St. Louis Cardinals. First time the Cubs have been swept this season.
Well, the Cubs also have a losing record against the San Diego Padres, who took 2 out of 3 from them. Well, I mentioned the Padres are 9 games back of the wild card. They have nobody to blame except the San Francisco Giants for that one. They are 0-9 on the year against the Giants as we welcome in a new pitcher, Brandon Maurer, 25-year-old right-hander. Big dude. 6'5", 230 pounds. He came over from the Seattle Mariners a couple of years ago.
Came over in exchange for outfielder Seth Smith. Swing and a miss by Hamilton. And the 4th strikeout of the night for Padres pitchers. One down. Here's Brandon Phillips. Brandon Maurer, born in Newport Beach, California. He will turn 26th on July 3rd. Came into the season with just over 2 years of Major League Baseball service time. Got his first Major League win back in April of 2013. Phillips, right center field, and a base hit.
Brandon got to go a little inside-out action on that pitch on the inner part of the plate, and he gets a single opposite field.
So Jay Bruce, 0 for 3 so far tonight. Like to put a charge into one right here. He's trying to rally back.
Well, it would be a good inning to try to get something going because you get deep into the game against the Padres, and their bullpen's not the greatest of all, but they do have a closer who has been lights out this year. Fernando Rodney just recently gave up his first run of the year. He's got a 0.3 earned run average.
Two 2-0 the count to the Reds right fielder. See what Bruce can do here in the hitter's count. Check swing and a strike. Bruce has never faced Brandon Maurer in his career. Two-one pitch. 2-2. Phillips drawing a chuckle from Myers at first base. Swing and a miss. Foul tipped into the glove of the catcher Norris. And Bruce is retired, 2 down. Now Adam Duvall. Delivered a 2-run home run back in the 3rd, part of a 4-run inning for Cincinnati. Love to duplicate that right here. Outside, 1-1. One to Duvall. 1 ball, 2 strikes. If you're just joining us, 3rd straight game the Reds are doing without Joey Votto. Still under the weather. Did do some baseball activities on the field today. See if he's back in the lineup tomorrow.
Well, I imagine so, because he was bouncing around there pretty good, although the heat and the humidity today was beating everybody down, and he didn't stay out all that long. I would imagine if the Reds need him to pinch hit, he's probably available to do that.
Two pitch.
Boy, did Mauer get away with one right there. That's how quick the reaction and the bat is of Adam Duvall. I mean, Mauer just got that little changeup up, and that's why Duvall was out in front of it. But boy, that was a nice level swing.
Do it again at 2-2. Here comes. Chased it. Single by Phillips, but otherwise Mauer strikes out the side.
Sean Casey was inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame. It's our Miller Time moment. Here's a snippet of his speech.
But I hope that you know when I put on number 21 and I put on a jersey every day, it's for each and every one of you. And I played my heart out because I love this city. And when Cincinnati was written across my chest, I never took it lightly. And I'm so honored and thrilled to have played here for 8 years in front of the greatest fans, Major League Baseball. Thank you so much. And I love Cincinnati. And I'm so grateful to be back. Boom.
That was one of the best, wasn't it? And we can't ever forget that speech, Jim. That was one of the best we've ever had.
Boom! Classic Sean Casey right there. That was one of the best speeches we've seen as far as Reds Hall of Fame speeches.
Well, anytime you hear him speak, I mean, it just gets better and better. The number of stories that Sean Casey can call on.
Oh.
It's, I mean, most speakers, after a few minutes, you're ready to give them the hook. Not Casey.
Wow. If Josh Smith, the second inning work, it's a pop-up from Solarte. When you don't see Casey for a while, and he greets you.
Hey, well, he beats you up.
Your shoulder. I mean, you almost separate your shoulder because it goes like this. It's like, hey, brother, what's up? Bam! And he hits your hand and nearly takes your shoulder out of socket. One of the all-time best, Sean Casey. Fair ball. Quick 2 outs here in the 8th. 4 pitches, 2 outs.
You know, nothing that Josh Smith throws up there, if you evaluate it individually, his fastball individually, you grade it out, you know, according to velocity, movement, command, you grade out his breaking pitches, and he gets exceptional numbers on the command part, but everything else is just about average or even a tick below. But I mean, here he is working on a second clean inning. He did have a walk in his last inning after 2 outs. And he's gone through the middle of the Padres order with no problem at all, at least so far.
Well, it was very cool to see in that game that we talked about on the road trip, which he was basically the last man standing. And he said all the right things in the post-game interview, but had his head down, you know, lost the game, was the losing pitcher after 3 1/3. But there were teammate after teammate that just kept coming up to him and saying, hey, man, you pitched well tonight, knowing that he took one for the team. Really lifted his spirits because he did pitch well that night. Granted, he has been a starter in the past, but he has not been stretched out that far this season, at least up here.
And the other part of it is, as a long reliever, and that's really what he is for this Reds ball club right now, you don't get consistent work.
Right.
So you have to somehow stay sharp, you know, with some bullpen activity and some throwing, but you have to save enough in case you're in the game and have to pitch multiple innings.
2-1 pitch to Derek Norris, who owns the big blow in this game. A 3-run home run back in the 6th. A 3-1 breaking ball in there for a strike. It's our Volkswagen drive of the game off of J.C. Ramirez. 10th of the season for Norris, and obviously a big one. Gave the Padres a lead once again. They led in this game 1-0. Trailed 4-1. Trailed 4-2, and then a 4-run 6th. Where we are now, 6-4 ball game. Three-two. Out off again. The air to right. And a nice couple of innings for Josh Smith. Reds trail by 2. Still hit in the bottom of the 8th. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Pirates have hit the skids. They lost 5-3 today to the Giants. 5-17 in June, and they've lost 11 of their last 14. Mark Trumbo, Chris, you mentioned him earlier, tied for the Major League lead with 21 home runs. Hit 22 in 142 games last season. And don't look now, but the Cleveland Indians, north of the border here in the state, or on the border, north part of the state, finished 11-0 at home in June. First undefeated month of 10+ games at home in team history. So Cleveland rocks right now. The Cavs just won the NBA World Championship, and the Indians, hot month of June, and coming in, they were 3 games ahead of Kansas City. In the American League Central.
And a new pitcher on for the Padres. So far so good for the Padres bullpen. They have been very good tonight in this ball game. The left-hander Brian Buckner. Make it Ryan Buckner. 29-year-old in for the Padres. He had some major league time in 2014 when he pitched 1 game for the Atlanta Braves. Signed in the offseason as a free agent here with the Padres.
He'll face Eugenio Suarez. First game with 3 walks for Suarez. Strikeouts have been his problem, but not tonight. He walked him 3 consecutive times. I'd like to see the 3 walks for Suarez, though. It has been a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, when that roller coaster hits its depth, you make a great point, Jim, because he chases pitches out of the zone. He gets too excited up there and really over aggressive. And that's a key for any hitter, is to shrink the strike zone to its true size. And if you only swing at strikes, you're going to be a pretty good hitter.
1-2 pitch.
Buchter's got a pretty good fastball. I mispronounced his name earlier. I was told by the Padre guys how to pronounce it. Not sure how you get Buchter out of that Buchter, but
well, it was right on the heels of me butchering that last graphic.
Well, at 6'4", 250, you pronounce it the way he wants it pronounced.
So Welsh and Day, stay hot. Strike 3 call. And Ryan Buchter is the first out here in the 8th. Last 5 Reds have strolled to the plate, struck out. Actually 4 of the last. 5 of 6. Phillips has a single in the middle of that. Now Jose Peraza.
Well, we're seeing more and more pitchers out there with that kind of side saddle modified windup, whether it's a stretch or whether it's a set position or whether it's a full windup. Buchter is one of those.
He's 29. He's born in Reading, Pennsylvania. Resides, though, in New Jersey. Signed as a minor league free agent in December last year. Peraza, foul ball.
I mean, he's been around a long time. I mean, of all the time that he has spent in the minor leagues, he's really finally getting a chance in the major leagues this year. He signed when he was 19 years old with the Washington Nationals. And here he is in the major leagues in only his 36th game.
Does have a big league win to his credit, June 20th, 2014. It was in his major league debut.
That was the only game he pitched that year.
Yep. With Atlanta.
He pitched 1 inning, Got a walk and a strikeout and a W.
Three balls, two strikes to Jose Peraza. Ramon Cabrera on deck. Peraza fouls it back. Three-two again. First to four with the Padres. A big weekend here at Great American. Peraza keeps fighting him off. Eight pitches in this at bat so far. Continues that MO. He certainly puts the bat on the ball. Does Jose Peraza. Contact hitter all the way. Got a good piece of that one right at Adam Rosales for out number 2. And with 2 out, the Reds catcher tonight, Ramon Cabrera. Switch hitter will hack from the right-hand side. And look who's on deck. We speculated. Would he be available off the bench? Pitcher spot up next. Joey Votto in the on-deck circle. Cabrera could get on. I would imagine we would see a pinch runner for him and then Votto at the plate. Two balls, one strike. Big open stance from Cabrera. The 2-1 pitch just missed inside. 3-1. Loop into right field. Rosales goes a long way and gets it. So the Reds leave Votto in the on-deck circle. Trail by 2. Sports Ohio has been brought to you by Kroger. Stop by your neighborhood Kroger to save big store-wide. Great food, low prices at Kroger. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Perhaps you've heard we're going to celebrate the Hit King this weekend. And on Sunday, arrive early for a special on-field ceremony to retire the iconic number 14. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. It is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And we hope you can come on out. And Pete Rose, the exhibit in the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. There are a ton of Pete Rose items there anyways. But now, the summer of Pete, there's all kinds of stuff in there. If you're coming out to Great American Ballpark, put it on your list. Stroll through there. If you haven't been there or you've been through it before, worth a second look and worth seeing that display. Ross Ohlendorf on to pitch the ninth for Cincinnati. First pitch swinging is Alexei Ramirez. Long run for Bruce. Does he have room? Runs out of room. Thought we might see Michael Lorenzen tonight. Was warming up. He thought he was going to get into the game last night. Did not. I guess the Reds are going to ease him back, trying to get his feet wet in a situation not like tonight where they're still in the game with 2 runs down.
Yeah, this is what they call nowadays a high leverage situation. Maybe not like you're trying to save a game 1 run up, but it's been a few days for Ohlendorf. He did not pitch in Texas. He pitched last on the 19th when the Reds were playing the Houston Astros.
Ground ball. Cozart goes to his left for the first out. Now Adam Rosales. Rosales has faced Ohlendorf in his career 3 times, 2 hits, 2 for 3. We can hear Ohlendorf exert himself every time he throws the pitch clear up here. When I'm downstairs, he's one of those guys, man, you can hear when he throws it.
You mean when he grunts and gets rid of it?
Max effort.
It's kind of like a tennis player. Sometimes there are certain tennis players that will grunt on every time they hit a strong forehand or backhand. You can see he puts a lot into each delivery.
Rosales down the left field line. It'll go to the wall. So make that 3 for 4 in his career off of Ross Ohlendorf. Stand up double.
Now, you really don't want the Padres to pick up even 1 run more here. That was a fastball that just got caught inside. Rosales, maybe one reason why he hits Ohlendorf. He's a very good fastball hitter. And a very likable guy. I mean, when he was in the Reds clubhouse, he was one of the favorites.
Gamer.
Yeah.
And the ultimate hustler.
Brett Wallace, strong left-handed hitter, came up with the Houston Astros. He's got home run power.
First pitch strike to the pinch hitter Brett Wallace. Inside 1-1. You're looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th. pitcher spot. There'll be a pinch hitter, and then back to the top of the order, Cozart and Hamilton for the Reds. See what Brian Price will do with that pinch hit slot. Where there'll be Votto, or they might wait, see if someone gets on base with a big hit. Sky ball.
Boy, did he just miss that one.
Moonshot into right. That ball was in the air a long time.
A little bit of a loopy swing right there, an uppercut, but boy, he just missed that by about 1/4 of an inch, hitting it about 400 feet. But a lazy and harmless pop-up, and Ohlendorf has 2 down.
And the top of the order, Travis Jankowski. Singled in the first. Lined out, grounded out, flew out. Heater at 95 misses. He looks like Bronson Arroyo a little bit.
He sure does.
And if he was here, you two would be together again. Broken bat.
This.
And it's gonna fall. That is just tough luck right there as Rosales scores. And an insurance run for the Padres.
That's like Arroyo. I mean, both of the hits he's had have been little flare jobs into left field. He had a little ball that he squirted in between the shortstop and the third baseman to start the game off. And the balls that he has hit hard, line drive to Billy Hamilton in center, and the one in left field were caught for out. So he's going the gentle way, and he drives a big run in right there. That gives it a 3-run game.
Very big run for the Padres. And now Will Myers. Pitch out, nothing doing.
Yeah, Will Myers came up with the Kansas City Royals just about the same time that Finnegan, and I should say that John Lamb was there. Finnegan and Reed were drafted after Myers was already dealt away from the Royals. So there is familiarity tonight when he stepped into the batter's box against John Lamb.
One ball, one strike to the Padres first baseman. Ohlendorf bringing it. Nope. Runner was going at first, but someone called timeout. I think it was Will Myers.
Had to be.
Jankowski fakes going this time, and a big cut by Myers.
Myers has been an outfielder. This is his first year of playing first base every day, and he's played perfectly down there. Does not have an error at first base. And he's out hit most every other first baseman in the National League, but his name is nowhere to be found in the All-Star voting right now. Padres need a representative, and in all likelihood, this is the most deserving one.
Well,
unless you go Fernando Rodney.
Yeah, there goes the runner. Ohlendorf bounces it up there. And Jankowski easily into second base. Well, the All-Star game will be in the Padres home park. see if indeed Will Myers is their representative. Pace has come to a crawl. And now Cabrera and Ohlendorf have to talk it over. Now Cabrera back behind the dish. Myers digs in. Ready for the 2-2 pitch. All that for that. 3-2. Lost him. Fifth walk given up by the Reds pitchers tonight. And those walks eat that guy alive right there, Brian Price. Nothing more helpless than watching, looking on, particularly when you're a former pitching coach. And the Reds continue to struggle with walking batters.
Look for Kemp to be swinging free and hard here at the very first pitch he sees, figuring he's going to get a strike from Ohlendorf.
And he got one.
Surprised about that. Actually, a first pitch changeup at 88 miles an hour. Ohlendorf's fastball is usually mid-90s.
2 on 2 outs, a run already in here in the ninth. Ohlendorf trying to keep it at 7-4. And he's ahead 0-2. Keeps looking up at Kemp.
He might be looking up to make sure that Kemp's not sneaking a peek back there at the side.
In the dirt, blocked by Cabrera.
Ohlendorf working up a lather,
which he can do on a regular basis.
Yeah, was that in Atlanta where we showed him actually dripping off of his hat? Wait till July and August come around.
He's gone through a number of hats already this season. Swing and a miss. And Ohlendorf gets out of trouble, but not before the Padres play add-on. Stick around after the game. We'll put a capper on it. Reds Live, the post-game edition. As always, brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. And tomorrow, it's the second big league start for Cody Reed and his Great American Ballpark debut. Righty versus lefty. Reed will go to the hill after a 6:30 Reds Live, and he's one of those guys, and we hope this continues going forward, that you're going to look forward to every 5 days to watch him pitch. Reds Live actually at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Correction on that. A special 1-hour edition of Reds Live tomorrow, 6 o'clock. And the closer on for the Padres, Fernando Rodney. Chris, he's been very, very good this season.
Now, some guys just get better and better with age, and you have to put Fernando Rodney into that category because he is now 39 years old. He turned 39 earlier this year in March. And parts of 14 different seasons in the major leagues. 251 saves to his credit, and this is a closing and save opportunity for Rodney.
And indeed, Joey Votto is pinch hitting to lead off here in the 9th. First time we've seen him in 3 games. Swing and a miss.
Rodney's been a 2-time All-Star. He had 48 saves for the Seattle Mariners in 2014. Probably remember most of all, though, in his years, most of them toiling for the Detroit Tigers.
He's 15 for 15 in save opportunities this season. And as you said earlier, just gave up his first run of the season the other day. Still wears that hat crooked, though.
Well, that's his signature. I mean, he's done that since the very first year he was with the Tigers. And so you can see him walking across the ballpark in the early in the afternoon. You know, it's Rodney.
Yep. That rubs some people the wrong way, the purists. Votto fights it off and stays alive. Votto's been under the weather. The Reds traveled from Houston to Arlington, Texas. Along the way, somehow caught a virus. Missed 2 games, was not in the starting lineup tonight. Here to pinch hit, strikes out. The first out of the 9th. Since 2012, Chris, Fernando Rodney amongst the best. You're on the list with Chapman and Kimbrel. Doing something right. Zach Cozart lays off an inside pitch.
Fernando Rodney can show you what you can do with 2 pitches. I mean, he really doesn't throw a slider. He's thrown, I don't know, in his career, I think, less than 100 sliders. But he essentially is fastball, changeup. Now, the fastball does go to 96 miles an hour, but the changeup he uses almost every other pitch.
Run the count to 3-0 to Zach Cozart. Very few Reds batters have faced Rodney. Cozart, in his first career at bat versus Fernando Rodney, draws a 4-pitch walk. So the tying run will come to the plate. Billy Hamilton 1 for 4 tonight, doubled back in the 3rd, scored. Fake the bunt. I obviously misspoke. He is not the tying run. Down by 3. Tying run would be on the on deck circle and Brandon Phillips. Swing and a miss by Billy. No balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch to Hamilton. Foul ball. Outside, 1-2. Swing and a miss. The Reds down to their final out. 9th strikeout from Padres pitching. Fernando Rodney. Trying for a 16th save of the season. Hails from the Dominican Republic. There goes the runner. And that will be defensive indifference. Kozar strolls to second. No stolen base. Phillips has faced Rodney 3 times in his career, 0 for 3. Phillips up the middle. Shortstop Ramirez and the Padres take game 1 of a 4-game set on the strengths of Derek Norris, 3-run home run in the 6th. 7-4 your final from GABP. Up next, it's Reds Live, the post-game edition here on Fox Sports Ohio.